What's going on, guys? This is Chandler Smith, and we just crossed 800 days building my dream home. And in today's video, I'm gonna share with you all the things that have happened, the good, the bad, the ugly, and what I wish I would have done different through this whole process. So with all of that being said, let's jump into it. All right, guys, I'm so excited to give you a tour of the house today because so much has happened since the last time we were here. I'm also excited to kind of go through all of the miserable things that have happened while building this home and explain the things that we could have done differently so it would have gone substantially smoother. The first thing I want to do before we jump into the video is just thank all of the people that have played a hand in building this home. This home is large and it has lots of weird intricacies and different things that I know a standard builder never deals with. I know that most subs don't deal with on a regular basis. And we kind of knew that when we decided to build the home. However, the first big thing that I've learned is when you're building a home like this, there are lots of problems that maybe haven't ever been solved. And so you need to show patience through that, but also I need to show gratitude to all of the people that have just figured out what those problems were and solved them, because this home may have taken longer than I expected, but it's turned out to be everything that we wanted and more. So have I been frustrated with certain subs? Of course. Have I been frustrated with the timing? Of course. But the overall outcome has been absolutely incredible. And I know once we're in the house, it's gonna be all worth it. Even though I'm pumped, that doesn't mean you guys can't learn a thing or two from my massive mistakes through this process. All right, with all of that being said, let's head inside. All right, guys, here's one of my favorite rooms of the house, and this is going to be my new office. Now, we have a studio downstairs for all the YouTube stuff, but for all the real estate stuff, all the sales stuff, everything else, I think I'm gonna spend a lot of time in this office. Now, if you come over here, this is the entry into the living room, the dining area, and the kitchen. Now, we're still waiting on a couple key pieces. As you can see, the painters are here just finishing the baseboards. Everything else has been painted, but any of the baseboards that had to go in after the hardwood floors or any of the other hard surfaces have been put in, and now we're getting their final touch-ups. The one other piece is over here. Now, I am just flabbergasted at how the kitchen came together. This is the brainchild of my wife and our designer, Lindy, at 4 Chairs. They're absolutely awesome, and it's been so fun to watch this come together. As you can see, we're missing the hood, and the hood is going to be the same marble. The reason we had to wait on it is you had to put countertops in, then you had to put in both cabinets and the backsplash, then you had to build the hood, then you have to put the hood on, and we're getting that in 3 days. This is the homework room. We got these doors put in, so when they're closed, looks super, super cool, just to give you a little taste. And we've got 7 other doors like this throughout the house, and I think they turned out awesome. All right, let's take a peek outside really quick. Now, I'm gonna give just a little teaser because we're gonna have one video just on the landscape, but the landscape has been absolutely incredible. And I did wanna give you just a little teaser out here. We got all of the pavers done, but if you look, they've got all the trees around here, and this is exactly the vision we had. And our landscapers over at B&K Landscaping just crushed it. Like, they came to us after we'd said kind of an idea of what we wanted and how we wanted it to feel, and they just put this all together masterfully. And so we're gonna have a whole video where I walk you through the landscape and kind of the purposes of it. But if you look over here, we've got speakers in on the whole house. We've got a lot of this here. We've got a fountain that's going in there, and it really just pulled everything together so that the pool area and the living room, kitchen area were all one, kind of combined with this back patio, and we absolutely love how it turned out. For this portion of the video, I figured we could warm up. It's supposed to turn on. It was on like yesterday. Since we started this home, my wife and brother have gotten cancer. We've been through COVID. We've been through, many ups and downs in many different ways on top of trying to build a home. And whenever I used to hear people building their dream home and say it was one of the harder things they did, I would just kind of laugh at them because I'm like, that's so silly, like you're building your dream home. And so I still feel that way, but at the same time, when you build your dream home, you want it to be perfect, and there are so many things that go wrong. So if you are getting into building your dream home or building any home really, just understand there are going to be multiple setbacks, there are going to be multiple mistakes, there are going to be multiple issues, problems. You're going to be trying to deal with life and work and family on top of going through the process, and you need to plan for that. You need to understand you're taking on another job. And again, I'm not complaining at all. It's been so fun and it's been awesome and it's all worked out great. However, just understand it's a lot of work and there are going to be a lot of setbacks. It doesn't matter how good a builder you have, how many good subs you have. Mistakes just happen, issues happen, problems happen, and a lot of them are uncontrollable. So just understand you gotta show patience through all of that, and it's gonna be a lot better once your mind falls into that place. It took me about 1.5 years to get there. This room came together awesome. We still have furniture and rug and all of that stuff that's gonna kind of pull it all together. But one thing that I didn't really understand when we got into this process is all of the little intricacies of building a home like this. When you've got lighting fixtures, you can also come into the bathroom in here really quick, and you've got a lot of different plumbing fixtures. This shower has 3 different shower heads and setups, and trying to put that all together where they match in color and where they get here, especially with a lot of the special order stuff, has been really interesting because we ordered it all. Our designer was extremely helpful, but even when you get the order in, you get it delivered, there are lots of things that show up incorrect or that are broken or damaged or have issues. And one thing that I wish we would have done differently is, first off, in the bidding process, make sure that we knew all of the fixtures and got our home bid according to the fixtures and the price point we were at with those, because those made a massive difference. With our lighting, for instance, in our original bid, we had lighting of $15,000, and we ended up spending closer to $70,000 just on lighting fixtures. Same with a lot of the sink or plumbing fixtures and a lot of that other stuff. So when you're going through the bidding process, make sure that you dial all of that in, and before your builder bids, he knows what level of finishes you want there. You also want to understand that there are going to be time delays for a lot of things, so make sure that you get them in early. And on top of all of that, once they do show up, you're gonna wanna go with the subs and walk through all of them and make sure they're there. And we thought that we did that, but then you get down to the end and you realize that a couple drains are missing, or a couple faucets are missing, or maybe one of the faucets is the wrong color. And we had problems with all of those things. And so then you're waiting more time for the right stuff to show up. And we had that happen with our lighting and with our plumbing fixtures and with a myriad of other things in the house, where had we ordered it early, had we bid it properly, and then had we double checked it before they showed up to start installing, we would have saved ourselves a ton of time and a ton of money. We might not have saved that money, but we would have had a more accurate bid, because now that we finished this process, we've ended up over $1 million over what our original bid was. All right, guys, this house has some incredible features that I'm excited to show you. We're gonna go show you the pool room now that it's finished, the basketball court, the gym. We've got so much awesome stuff coming. However, there's one feature that I didn't realize I would love as much as I do. We're gonna show it to you. Our designer said we needed this toilet. I had no idea I could be so in love with a toilet, but as you walk in, it opens up for you. It mists the bowl, so you don't get anything, stick into a sticky bowl. It also instantly heats up the seat, and I've been told it has a lot of other features for cleaning my behind that I'm going to love, but I haven't tried it yet. But the fact that it opens up and says hello, I really appreciate. The painters have done an incredible job, and so we're gonna try and stay out of their way, but I did wanna show you this room. This all wraps around, so we've got our master bedroom, our master bathroom, our master closet, And then this is the laundry room. And I think both me and my wife decided that this is our favorite room, the way that it came together with the paint colors, with the tile, with everything. It just turned out awesome. Now you'll notice there are a couple little trim pieces and paint touch-up stuff that still needs to happen in all of these rooms. So if you see lines or cracks or dents or dings, a lot of that is what they're working on right now to get to the finished product. All right, guys, this is one portion I want to show you before we head upstairs. If you look in here, this is a mudroom, and I don't know, we just feel like it came together awesome. It's got this brick as the floor that can take a lot of damage. A great place for the kids to put on snow clothes, to get ready to go to school, whatever it is. We love the lockers for holding your stuff, a nice place for our keys, and then you can come take a quick peek at the garage. It's finally somewhat clean, and so we've got over there, I'm gonna put my nicer cars. Here, kind of our daily drivers. We've got electric plugs. We've got 4 of them, 1 on each wall in here. And we also just got the vacuum set up. What's it called? Like central vacuum throughout the whole house. They just got that finished. And so just lots of cool little fun stuff. The other thing that is so neat is our smart home. And I've talked about this before. We might have one full video just diving into the smart home stuff, but they've got speakers throughout the entire home. You also have dimmers on the majority of the lights in the house. And then here you can push welcome you can push end, it shuts down all the lights in the house, or you can push welcome, and then you have the ability to turn on everything you want with that welcome switch, which is really cool for shutting everything down. You can also control all of the lights, speakers, locks, everything from your phone. One quick shout out I wanted to give is to our tile people that were fantastic. If you look though, I'm gonna show you pictures of tile that was put here and over here where the Clee tile, they sent the wrong tile mixed in with the right stuff. And so it was interesting because our tile guy, he was pulling from 6 different boxes, doing everything he was supposed to. He sent them a picture because they just sent tile that was mixed in. And if you look, it looks like there were 2 different brands that were put in together. Now, this is like handmade stuff and you pay a lot for it. So me and my tile guy thought for sure they'd want to make it right. They just responded and said, no, like you get variation. That is how it is. So they weren't willing to do anything, which was crazy for what you pay for this stuff. It looks beautiful, but we had to go and scrap a bunch of the boxes that were ordered because they just looked ridiculous, and you can see that from these pictures. The other thing that was crazy is I was here every day and I saw it before it had the grout put in, and it really looked like it was going to look good. Once you had the grout, it really popped those white tiles that you could tell just didn't belong. And so my tile people were so awesome. They came back, they chipped out the ones that we didn't like there, and they did that just because they're fantastic, even though the tile company, Clee, absolutely screwed us over and just said, oh no, it's supposed to look that way. And you can tell me, but I think this looks a lot better than it did the way they said it was supposed to look. Now, it's stuff like this that you have so many different weird random issues with so many different companies, and it's pretty normal. Like, you run into so many bumps along the way, and that's why one thing I would say that we did right that's been so important is just going with a contractor that has subs that are willing to come and just make sure that it looks the way that you want it to look. Because we actually went to the Parade of Homes here locally, and we saw a lot of these things come up that hadn't been fixed in other people's homes. And this isn't to bash on them or their contractors, but I'm so grateful that we had people working on the house that just wanted to make it right and were willing to go the extra mile to get that done. Even when the company's providing tile like this or other things that we've run into should be responsible, they still took ownership and made it right for us, and that was awesome. This home was unique because it had so many different cabinets, and we pretty much have all of the cabinets done. The last piece is going in here. We've got a little bunk bed, and this is like a small little reading hangout area for kids. And so we're gonna have a bunk here and a bunk here, but then this is a little book toy area for them to come hang out. Over here, they got these cabinets done and they look absolutely beautiful. You'll also see that we used a ton of white oak throughout the home because both me and my wife just love it. All right, a couple other things I learned through this process. First off, timing plays a big role, but it's really hard to work with timing. We had no idea we were gonna hit COVID, where lumber, roofing, literally everything was going to skyrocket in pricing. On top of that, it made it way harder to find labor. We had lots of gaps. We also built at a time where I feel like everyone else was building, and we built in a time where interest rates were on the rise very, very quickly. All of these things can end up being catastrophic for building a home. So there are a couple things I did right, a couple things I wish I would have done better. The first thing I felt that I did really well is I negotiated my interest rates and I locked them in so that I knew whatever I was locked in at the front, I was gonna keep in the back. Now, the one mistake I made is I only had them locked in for a year and a half because I had no idea that my home could potentially take over 2 years to get to the finish line. And because of that, I had to do a lot of back and forth, a lot of negotiating, just a lot to get them to hold the rate. Now, I originally was locked into 3.6 interest rate. Because we did go way over budget, my loan, or the borrowed amount, was going to be 1.5 million. It ended up bumping to $2 million that I borrowed. So adding that extra 500,000, I had to go back, try and negotiate that. I also had to try and negotiate keeping the rates low. So I feel like I did really well because for a jumbo loan, rates now would be close to 7%. However, because of the negotiations I did, I was able to get them to not only add an extra $500,000 to our borrowed amount, so we borrowed $2 million total, but I also was able to lock it in a 4.25% interest rate, which is better than anything that I've heard, considering the fact that we went over our year and a half and we had to add an additional $500,000 to a loan that was a one-time close. And this is a special shout out to ICCU. Out of all the banks I've shopped for years and years, they have been the best of the best. And Rob Allen is my commercial lender. He was absolutely incredible. We've done a lot of work together and he was able to help get me in contact with the right people so that we really could be in a place where they worked with us and we found a good solution for this home. So that's a big thing. Make sure you do everything you can to lock in rates and control that. The other big mistake that I made that I wish I would have done differently is on the front end, you're pushing like, what's the price? What's the price? What's the price? And I really tried to kind of, I don't know, lock in my builder, and you're pushing them and they're trying to bid and compete and make sure that they get your business. And so you want them to give you a good price. If I had to do it all over again, I would say, look, I want you to give me the worst case scenario price. And then I want you to add 10% to it. I want you to make it look massive so that I could have gotten approved for the larger amount on the front end. And then if I didn't need it, I wouldn't have to go through the negotiation process, because it's much better to have too much loan than not enough loan and have to go back to the bank, especially in a climate where rates are on the rise. And it was really tricky to work through that. Now, luckily it panned out, but with your builder, make sure you go to him. You say, these are the exact finishes. I want you to shop all of these out, price them out, order everything that we can on the front end, and do everything in your power. So not only do you know what your real price is going to be with the finishes that you want, but hopefully you can order a lot of that and lock in as much pricing as you can. Now, some things you can't do that with, but there are a lot of things, had we done it that way, had I really gone to my builder and said, no, you know, I don't want just a ballpark bid, because you're doing cost plus on any build this size. And instead of saying, hey, give me a ballpark, do your best guess, and we were kind of rushing them, I would have said, no, these are the exact finishes we want. These are the fixtures, these are everything. I would have spent more time on the front end with our designer or in that design process so we could get everything in, ordered, done. And that way the price wouldn't have continued to creep and creep and creep and creep until, you know, we're over $1 million over our original bid. All right, let's go check out this Jack and Jill bathroom. This came together so well. We decided to go the big mirror, and then you can see the lights coming out of the mirror. That was a lot of work for them to put it together, but I really think it turned out cool. And then if you come in here, this is the other bedroom. And this is the laundry room. I feel like this came together so awesome. We've got a laundry room on each floor, and this one is really, really cool. We got all the natural stone in. This is another thing that I learned through the process. When you're working with your tile people, your plumbers, all of those, and first off, I gotta say, I've had some incredible subs on this project. My plumbers absolutely incredible. They came in, they cranked it out, they did an awesome job. Same with our tile guys. They just floored me at the level of service that they gave us and how well they take care of us. And one problem we found is with natural stone, there were lots of issues with the tile that we were sent. As far as when you get natural stone, you can have very stark contrast. So in this room in particular, there was stuff they laid and you couldn't see how different it was until the grout was in. They were willing to come back, pull up some of the tile, mix it even better than they already had. Once we saw with the grout that certain areas popped a little harder than others, and they really just did a fantastic job. So we're so happy how that turned out. This is finished product of my son's room. You can see we've got the accent wall. It came together really good, and they're just doing some of the last paint touch up, but it's looking fantastic. All right, so before we go in here, I want to show you this room, and I'm going to move this really quickly and then we'll move it back. But these cabinets are some of my favorite in the home. This is going to be a music room. My wife loves playing the violin and piano, and I'm sure our kids will do a lot of that as well. And so it just gives you a little look at some of the cabinets in here and the bookshelf, and it really just turned out incredible. Next, we got to show you the theater room. Now, this was something, we originally had these painted white and it just didn't quite pop the way that we wanted it to. So we changed these to the room of the theater room. The painters still have to paint this since we made that change so that it all blend a little bit better, but you can come in and check it out. Our theater guy's done a fantastic job, and we might have to give you a demo another day, but it really is looking just about complete. You can see some of the areas where the painters need to come back and fix up paint, but I'll show you with the lights on. I really thought this turned out great, and the theater sounds incredible. It's been really fun. Okay, this is one of those things that both me and my wife have had a vision of a fireplace like this for a long time. We did a home tour out in Vegas, and they had some of that darker stone on the fireplace, and we were just kind of smitten by it, and I think this turned out absolutely incredible. One thing we had to change with these cabinets is we didn't realize that we were going to have this fur down here, and there are ways to avoid that. They're just pretty pricey, and that was one of the areas we were okay with the ceiling height how it was, but we had to go, instead of having ceiling high cabinets, to these, and I really think it's going to turn out awesome. We're going to have some art on either sides and then the TV in the middle. This kitchenette turned out so cool. All that it's missing is the microwave, but it really turned out pretty. And again, we did more white oak because we love it. Now, another mistake that we made is in here, we got a block sink. And so we had them get the tile, everything. However, they're gonna have to rip out tile to build this wall strong enough. And that's another piece of advice I'd give you going through this process. Anytime you have something that's unique or out of the ordinary, you wanna make sure that you let your builder know on the front end so that they can prepare properly, because this wall is going to need to be reinforced where we didn't communicate that properly. And so now they're gonna have to take out tiles, reinforce it so that it can handle a 300-400 pound sink. All right, okay, this room is complete minus this hole in the wall where we're gonna put the sub in, but I also just got my brand new gym from Force USA, and we're gonna be doing some fun videos with them in the future because I'm really going to work this year to make it the most fit year of my life. And I did tons and tons of research, ended up going with this company, and I'm probably gonna pitch them a lot if my muscles get bigger, probably pitch them less, and that way I can blame the gym equipment rather than my work ethic if I don't get bigger. So we'll keep you posted. But shout out to them. Install is incredible, and this gym is absolutely incredible. This is one other place we're waiting for our bunk beds to get in. It's the last piece of cabinetry that needs to go in, and then we're good. And then you gotta come take a look at the basketball court. All right, guys, you have to come check this out. This is embarrassing, but my entire 4,000 square foot house that I was living in has been squeezed into here because we were living in a vacation rental I own. That's my grandparents' house. You can go check out that video here. But literally, if you come around this corner, I'm so glad we put in this massive storage room because I did not want to move it into one of our storage units and then back here because it goes all the way back to that wall. Man, a couple layups and the indigestion's getting me. This is the locker room. This is gonna be like the poker hangout. We're gonna have a fridge with a big glass wall here. It'll be full of drinks. We've got lockers and we're gonna put a bench in here so that friends and family can come. They can get ready and either go to the basketball court or go up to the pool room. I love how these came together, and you can see they're doing a couple finished touches on after we had plumbing in to get these to work. But I feel like these bathrooms turned out so awesome. We also got the glass put in here for this shower, and we did a shower in one. And then over here we did the same layout, but we did a tub. We wanted a way to bring like a modern industrial feel. And if we were gonna put lights in, any other lights, I felt like were gonna look bulky. So we found these and they actually go in the cracks in between the suspended slabs so that it looks super clean. One other mistake that was made, and this one was kind of a bummer. If you come in here, we added this washer and dryer, and we thought we added it with enough time. We thought we let everybody know. The one people that we didn't let know were the HVAC people. And so we've got plumbing, we've got electrical, but we don't have a vent out of the house. So now I've got a washer and dryer in here. There are a couple solutions we're working through, but it's little stuff like that where if you're not paying attention to every little detail, you can end up with everything for a washer and dryer, but your vent out. All right, now let's go check out the pool room. Now you can see there's still some gunk on the walls. We're gonna get these all cleaned up, and I think it made a pretty flawless transition from what it is up here into more that industrial modern. You look, we put a lot of time into figuring out how we wanted these transition pieces to work, going from the tile in here down into the concrete look, and I think it really did come together. The pavers in here look awesome. The tile, originally we were gonna do just this wall, but then we saw it up and we're like, man, it's gonna be so easy for cleanup with the pool and any moisture that might get splattered on the walls, and so we ended up doing tile throughout the whole place. We wanted kind of an accent for our shower. Now that shower isn't finished yet. We're waiting on one more piece for the chrome shower, but in all, it came together awesome. This isn't the finished piece for the TV. The cords are all gonna be hidden, but they've just been testing that. All right, guys, I know there are lots of people that said this pool would never come together, and I believed you, but the pool people pulled it off and it looks absolutely awesome. We have one more cleaning that is happening this week. You can see there's just a little more stuff on the bottom. I think they did everything in about 5 cleanings, from like absolute sludge that would eat up a body to looking like a beautiful pool. All right, so our HVAC people were here earlier today just getting everything installed so that we can turn on the heater for the pool. But I wanna show you, all of this stuff runs from an app on my phone. This is the first one. We made it so there's a spillway waterfall, which is really cool. We're gonna keep this very hot for a hot tub. We're gonna keep this more pool temperature. The other reason we love this, other than just looking cool, is it makes it so that immediately you can have very hot water come into this tanning ledge, where a lot of times we'll have kids hanging out. So if you want a colder pool, but you have kids that wanna come and splash around in the water, this is gonna be awesome, because right here will be kind of a hot spot when we turn on the cool waterfall. This is probably my kids' favorite feature because they can play with it before we've actually had a chance to get in our swimming suits and swim. So it's gonna be a ton of fun for me and the kids and sales reps that come over and everything else that we're planning on doing in the home. Now again, I'm gonna save a whole video for the landscape because it really is gonna come together cool, but being able to walk out here, it connects with the back door, and seeing everything that's coming together. We've got the fence over here that we're putting together, all of these trees for this tree line, and then we've got over 100 trees going in the back. we're just really excited for it to come together. Now, before I wrap up the video, there are a couple more things I wanted to include that I think will make a huge difference if you're getting into the building process. I've talked about this first one before, but any specialty items, make sure that you get an exact number pegged down and it's not up in there, especially with a cost plus model. When it comes to my HVAC in here, I did not know that was going to be an extra $60,000 to $75,000 that was on top of our original bid because my builder didn't understand all that went into a pool. And the biggest reason for that is I was using pool people that I was kind of the contractor on. I was the one dealing with them. I was the one asking them questions, going through that process. And because of that, my builder just said, look, I'll build the structure, but everything involving the pool, that's on you. The problem was I didn't understand that that included the HVAC that would be required for this. So when we got his HVAC guy in here, he's like, hey, this is a pool, you know, this is what needs to be done. And again, that wasn't something that should have fallen on my builder. That was my mistake for not understanding that that was going to be my responsibility. And so his people still helped us get what we needed. It just ended up costing a lot more to be able to get it done. The other thing is through the process, make sure that everything is written down. There are lots of change orders that you go through and you want those written down so you know what that's going to. Now with cost plus, your price is your price is your price, right? Your builder isn't manipulating you or taking advantage of anything. It's just, hey, this is what it costs and they get their fee on that. And so you want to make sure you know what's going into that. They're a little less incentivized to get their bid dead on for what your desires are because again, they're cost plus. And so if it goes up, it's not as big of a concern. With us, there were lots of things that were substantially more money that were unique. That included like the glass doors throughout the house, the HVAC system, a lot of the tiles we chose, a lot of the fixtures we chose. So make sure you get that dialed in on the front end. The other thing is when it comes to grout colors, tile colors, paint colors, all of that stuff on your cabinets, any of it, make sure you use text or email and you get specific details because there are lots of things where we didn't get specific details. And so then a lot of times instead of asking us, the subs would just do things. So we ended up with grout colors that we had to go and change. We ended up with flooring that was going the wrong direction from what we wanted it as far as where the focal point of the room was going to be. We ended up with, you know, all these little things that had we written it down, then it could have been their fault. But when it was like, hey, nothing was clarified on this, we just kind of did what we thought was best. That's where you run into issues. And I know it's like, oh, why shouldn't the sub just come and talk to you? We kind of felt that way a lot. And some subs were more easy to work with like, oh, we should have asked you about it. Where others, our flooring people, they did the herringbone the wrong direction in my office. And we're like, no, like we wanted to go towards the focal point. And they're like, no, like we put it in, you didn't say anything. This is how we thought. We're not going to rip it up and redo it and pay for that just because you didn't clarify something. And that really sucked. And it is what it is. I think it turned out great, but we weren't going to go and spend an extra $25,000 just to change the direction, even though we wish they would have asked us and got it right. So anything and everything, make sure that you're over the top annoying. And I feel like I'm a great person at follow-up. I'm a great person at asking lots of questions, but there were still lots of things that we didn't clarify that ended up getting done in a way that maybe we weren't over the moon excited about. Now, for the most part, everything in this home turned out just how we wanted it to be, but there are so many things with every part of it that are going to change, that are going to have issues, that are going to have things where maybe the designer of the home or the engineer of the home missed something. With this home, one of those things were the direction that it faced and which areas were going to have issue with snow. This home faced a different direction when we copied the original plans, and because of that, we had a lot of water issues that then ended up causing a lot of leaks. Now, some of this was on the roofer and they came and fixed that, but the other part is the way that this was designed, there are certain areas on a roof that just have to handle a ton of snow. And because of the order of things, that 1 year where we didn't have insulation in yet, but we did have heat in the home as they're putting in insulation, so then we ended up getting a lot of heat out. We got ice dams, and then that caused the leaks, that caused roof damage. All of those things now have since been fixed, and had we gotten heat tape and maybe done things in a slightly different order, it wouldn't have been an issue. But it's a unique home and a unique environment where we got lots of snow this last winter, and then we ended up with problems. And so make sure that you're thinking about everything possible and asking tons of questions about all of the things that could go wrong. Now, with a lot of these issues, the subs and our builder just made them right and we're able to go and get them fixed and get them done properly. but that's something I wish I would have thought about more so that I could be on top of it. So ask tons of questions, make sure that you get everything written down, make sure you clarify things on the front end, and then make sure that you understand that the loud bird is the one that gets the worm. And so consistently follow up. We really realized that with a lot of the subs, where if it's like we'd put a time frame on it and we'd hold them accountable and we call them when they didn't show up. Once I started getting involved with my general contractor, I feel like that sped up a lot of those things, where before we were like, oh, they didn't show up again, they didn't show up again, they didn't show up again. I feel like when the homeowner gets involved, it really sped up some of the subs. The last thing is there are lots of different permitting and things that can get in the way. We had to wait on our septic, we had to wait on our water, we had to wait on electrical, all because of different permitting that we had to wait on with the city. And that's just another thing that can be out of your control. And so please do everything you can to plan for a worst case scenario time frame and a worst case scenario budget, because a lot of times when you're building a home this size, crap just happens. You're going to end up over budget. You're going to end up over your time frame. And if you show patience with that and plan accordingly, it's gonna end up a lot better than it could have. I'm so grateful that we waited way longer to sell our house. I was gonna sell it almost a year ago because of when I thought this house was going to be done. And so waiting until the right time where we were at the finish line, we've only had to live in one of my rentals for a couple weeks before we're gonna be able to move in here. All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. It's been such a fun, painful, scary, long, awesome process. If I had to do it again, probably would. We'll see. Once I'm living in it, I'm sure it will all be worth it. But it's been a ton of fun. I hope you enjoyed it. And I hope if you're building a home, this helps you to go through the process. Now, stay tuned. Make sure you like and subscribe, because we're going to show you this home once we get furniture in, which is coming in next week. And this home, we ordered all new furniture. So it's over $200,000 worth of furniture that's going into the home. We also did a ton on the landscape, and that's going to finish up soon. And I'm so excited to share all of that with you, and the things we learned, the things that we wish we did different, so that hopefully it can help you as you go through your home building process. Now, if you enjoyed the video, again, remember to smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and we'll look forward to seeing you in the future videos. Thanks, guys.